Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video, I'm going to address one of the most asked questions, which is how to break into tech. I'm going to provide simple, actionable steps that you can take to help make that journey easier. One of the hardest things about breaking into tech is actually figuring out what industry or what area within tech do you want to specialize in, because there's so many options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down tech into five main pillars. I would say you have data, you have cyber, you have cloud, you have AI, you have web development. Of course, there are other disciplines within the tech industry, but to keep things simple, I'm going to break it down into those first five pillars. So now that we've broken it down into the five pillars, what I would require you to do next is to explore those five pillars. What do each of those five pillars entail, and what are each of them about? The best way to go about this is to attend introductory sessions into the different disciplines. So you have organizations like Lewagon who do introductory courses and introductory webinars into the different areas. So they have one in data, maybe in AI, maybe in software engineering, etc., etc. That will give you an understanding of the general sort of conversation, the general consensus around what does that discipline entail. What I would say is that give yourself time and grace when researching into those different disciplines. Don't rush this process. Even if it means you spend 1 week researching one discipline, another week researching another, I would recommend you do that, because that way it will give you career clarity as to what do the different disciplines within tech industry entail and which one am I interested in. What I find is that people have a sense of confusion because they rush the research process. They want to get the answers really quickly, they're overloaded with information, and then they get confused. They're not really sure because they haven't really taken the time to digest the information that they've researched. Okay, so you've identified the main disciplines, you've done introductory webinars and online sessions about what those different disciplines entail. What I would then look at is, okay, which of these disciplines is of interest to me based on the research that I've done. Once you've found the discipline of interest, let's say, for example, data, what I would recommend that you do is research some of the most common roles within data. So let's say data engineering, data analyst, data science, all of that jazz. Because what you want to do is identify, okay, I want to get into tech. The area of tech that I want to get into is data, and the roles within data are this. What it will do is that it'll help you understand what are the main roles within data. But what's most important in that research process is identifying what are the common skills in each of those different roles. So when you're researching about the most common jobs in data, you also want to research what are the most common skills within those roles, and essentially build a table that will be like data analyst. Most of the roles require you to have SQL and Python. Data engineer, they expect you to know ETL processes, etc., etc. That will give you clarity as to what are the most high in demand skill sets required for those roles. Also, what you might find is that in a lot of those roles within data, maybe data engineering, data analyst, data science, you might see roles appear across all of them. That will highlight to you that in the data discipline, having knowledge of the cloud, having knowledge of Python will mean that I can increase my chances of applying for many roles within that discipline, because many of those roles require you to have knowledge of Python or the cloud, for example. So, what we've done is you've said, I want to get into tech. Okay, where do we begin? We've broken it down into five disciplines for the sake of ease. We've then broken it down even further by looking at the roles within each of those disciplines and the most frequently required skills that are required. So now you've got this information, you can now have some level of career clarity as to what are the next steps to take. What is the action step to take? So you've done your research, you've got a good idea a clear idea of what's required within the discipline within tech, and now it's time to take action. So, there are multiple pathways of entry into tech, and now more than ever, there are different routes into the industry. You no longer necessarily need a traditional background within the space to break into the industry. I'm going to talk briefly through the various different pathways into the tech industry. I think it's also really important to note what kind of learner are you, because that will help determine what career pathway or career route would be best suited for you. So, the first one we have is an apprenticeship program. With the apprenticeship program, usually it involves you learning whilst you're on the job. And at the end of it, it'll be like a 2 year program where you have structured learning and you're also working on the job. And then after the 2 years, you then gain a qualification and you can say, you know what, I'm officially a data analyst. With apprenticeships, traditionally, they were aimed at, I would say, school leavers. But what I'm starting to see now is that they're offering apprenticeship programs for those who are career switchers, such as the Makers Tech Track program. So, regardless of what career stage you are in, understand that there may be opportunity for you from your background, whatever background it is, to pivot into technology through an apprenticeship. The second route of entry is a master's program. Obviously, this can be a little bit more demanding and requires you potentially to work full time to make ends meet, but it's also a good alternative for you to upskill and learn more about the area of interest. The third entry route is short courses that are ran by well recognized university. Be cautious with short courses because loads of people are selling courses and they may not necessarily be the best value for money, or they may be poorly delivered. So if you're looking to pursue a short course route, that could be from an independent provider, or I would recommend through a well respected university such as UCL or the University of Oxford. Make sure you do some research into the modules that they'll be teaching you and the reviews about that short course to see whether it is a worthwhile investment or not. This is a good alternative to, let's say, doing a master's program, which requires a lot more time and is over a longer period of time. The other route of entry is the government free digital skills boot camps, where they're like 12 to 14 weeks, which are instructor led and teach you about the different areas of tech. For those of you who work for a large organization, have a look at the internal resources that they have. You might find that they may have a training budget that you could use to gain a training opportunity or a qualification. You might also find that there may be opportunity for you to do a work shadow opportunity, a secondment, a placement within your current organization in a role, a tech role that's of interest. In my previous organization, they had opportunities for people to do secondments, work shadow placements, and also they actually had internal training programs, traineeship programs, where people, regardless of their background, could upskill in an area of tech. So definitely research into those opportunities. The best way to find out about that is to subscribe to your organization's career website. Join business resource groups where you can connect and communicate with people to highlight, I've got an interest in business analytics or data analytics. Is there anyone who works in this field who could provide me advice or know of any sort of work placement, shadow, or secondment opportunities that I could take part in? In addition to exploring the pathways of entry into the tech space, make sure that you are networking in person and online. Go to industry events where you will understand the conversations that are happening within the chosen area of your discipline, but also it gives you an opportunity to network with people who are working within the space. What I've found is that a lot of opportunities are shared by people within their network, and that's a good way of expanding your exposure to potential opportunities. And also make sure that you are active on LinkedIn, following and connecting people in the relevant field of interest. The other thing I would say, make sure your CV is updated, your LinkedIn page is also updated, as you never know when you need to submit your CV. Another thing I would say is don't give up too early. My journey from chemistry to cybersecurity took a year and a half. If I had given up 6 months into what was a year and a half journey, I would not be where I am today. Also, be open to the fact that there may be career changes, career pivots, or changes in the direction of your journey into tech. Embrace that because you never know where you could end up. When I wanted to break into tech, I originally wanted to become a cloud engineer, but I accidentally fell into cybersecurity through my journey of getting into tech. So, yeah, if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment, and I'll be back with another video.